Tonight, new developments with the 2018 Pajoa letter scandal have all eyes on Guy Joseph yet again. The man at the center of the controversy, Guy Joseph, continues to skirt around the Pajoa letter issue but instructs the SLP to air out its own laundry. And researchers say they found another life-saving treatment for COVID-19. The details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 16th of June, 2021. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Was Prime Minister Alan Chastanet truthful about his awareness of the existence of the infamous Pajoa letter, which surfaced in late 2018? And did Economic Affairs Development Minister Guy Joseph speak the truth to the Prime Minister? Those were questions raised by SLP political leader Philip J. Pierre at a press conference on Wednesday as the Pajoa scandal has resurfaced. Pierre says that both the Prime Minister and the Economic Development Minister neglected their responsibility to the people of St. Lucia, and the public must be given an opportunity to restore its confidence in government by dissolving Parliament and calling a general election.
The St. Lucia Labour Party is calling out the government of St. Lucia to come clean about its involvement in the Pajoa scandal, the infamous letter that surfaced in 2018 purporting that government was engaged in discussions with Pajoa's Limited and Associates to fund the street lighting project and the St. Jude's Hospital. According to SLP political leader Philip J. Pierre, new information has come to light warranting swift action by government.
Both the minister and the Prime Minister initially denied the authenticity of the letter, claiming no such letter originated from the ministry. Since their public denials, a letter has surfaced in the public domain revealing that one bank has responded to the minister identifying Pajoa as its client and its willingness and ability to provide $168 million to undertake the works. The letter was addressed to the Minister of Economic Development. Then another letter dated 21st January 2021 from one Maximilius Johannes to Mr. Wong, appointing him, Mr. Wong, as the representative to source funding for the government of St. Lucia for the $168 million project. It can be assumed, therefore, that the writer, Mr. Johannes, was assured that the projects would have taken place.
The letter dated November 12, 2018, stated that government would commit to repaying a $62 million loan over a 15-year period once those projects were successfully completed. According to Pierre, those projects had already secured funding from other sources, including the Caribbean Development Bank and the Taiwanese government.
The letter was not addressed to any specific individual or entity. Consequently, it could have been presented to money launderers or other criminal elements to ostensibly finance government projects. It is such loose financial arrangements that have led to the imposition of more stringent financial regulations by the US and other global interests and the blacklisting of countries that further threatens the operations and viability of small businesses in St. Lucia.
The Economic Development Minister has neither confirmed nor denied the signature belonging to him. However, he insisted that responsibility does not lie with him to account for letters within the public arena. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Thank you, Nisha. Former Independent Senator Evristus Jamari says it is alarming that the importance of the Pajoa letter matter is lost on many citizens. The matter has resurfaced after dominating the news cycle back in 2019, with the opposition calling for the firing or resignation of Guy Joseph at several press conferences back then. Jamari has steadily maintained that the November 2018 comfort letter to Pajoa Limited, allegedly signed by the Economic Development Minister, represents a gross gross violation of ministerial conduct. The letter offers a commitment by the government of St. Lucia to repaying a loan of US $62 million or EC $167.4 million at 3.5% over a 15-year period for the LED street lighting project, which was already financed by the Caribbean Development Bank and the St. Jude Hospital project. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet, for his part, told the press back in 2019 that he had neither seen the letter nor did he give authorization for what it purportedly contains.
It appears to me the significance of this letter seems to be lost on some people. And perhaps the best way of explaining the full magnitude of the danger that the country has been faced with because of that letter is to do it by way of example. So I'll give an example of how dangerous that letter is and how damaging it can be to the reputation of St. Lucia. Imagine if Padroa Limited were to go out there and secure the funding from someone who was looking for an opportunity to launder money. So he gets the agreement, the launderer said, okay, fine, the person who wishes to launder the money has agreed to give Padroa the money to finance the project. Padroa Limited comes back to the minister and says, I've got the funding, I can do the project. You know what's been happening in the past, there's a direct award. So he gets the project, he can carry it out because he has financing to do the project. The project is perhaps likely going to get completed, and the government of St. Lucia would pay Padroa Limited for work done. On the face of it, it looks quite legitimate. But what has happened there? The government has effectively facilitated the laundering of money by someone who was looking to launder money. That is the danger of this.
Jamari says this is unacceptable and indefensible. The former independent senator says the government and citizenry have to take a stand against such behavior. As far as he is concerned, the Prime Minister up to this point has demonstrated too much of a high tolerance for improper behavior.
The only way, the decent way of dealing with this, is this minister should be fired. And I keep repeating it, he should be fired. And we can't have people like that representing us as a people. And if we do nothing about it, it says something about the rest of us. Why do we call these people honorable men and women in the House of Parliament when they can do things like that and get away with impunity? That matter should not be allowed to rest because it's a serious indictment on the administration.
Previously, former Prime Minister and current Infrastructure Minister Stephenson King stated on the record that the Economic Development Minister Guy Joseph should be disciplined if the comfort letter to Padroa Limited was found to be authentic. Guy Joseph is brushing off newly ignited Padroa letter controversy in more or less the same fashion that he did in 2019. Joseph scoffs at the accusations that he engaged in impropriety as a minister. He says it is a desperate attempt at the Labour Party to grasp at straws. Joseph has yet to confirm or deny the authenticity of the letter that bears his name and letterhead of his ministry.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
I've never heard more foolishness in my life. That is what the Labour Party has.
That's what they
A letter that says if you do projects, you will get paid. A letter that says if you are engaged and you meet the requirements. Do they understand what investment is and getting investors into St. Lucia? So, to say that there's a letter and that letter isn't... Now, I have said I cannot account for letters that circulate on social media. I can account for letters that are written and in the files of government. Because people can take any letter, they can doctor information, they can do things, they can say things. You know, you get these things.
Joseph has fired back at the SLP with questions of his own regarding how the SLP government handled its own affairs.
Did that letter give a lease for the seabed in St. Lucia? Did that letter give mining rights to Robert Ainsworth for all the 4,000 acres of land that he was being promised by the Labour Party government? Did this letter guarantee cost overruns for Rochelle? Did this letter pardon people under the NCA and give them jobs in Guyana? What you see, when these people want to come in and talk about, everything they accuse me of Champagne is what would have been, not what is.
Critics say the minister is simply continuing to skirt around the issue. You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. Still to come, the tourism minister reacts to reports of locals being denied access to beaches by hotels in the south. The Vendors Association is guaranteed full disclosure on the recommencement of cruise tourism after bitter complaints. And the Chamber of Commerce advises its members following a string of burglaries targeting the business sector. That and more after the break.